going on, everyone? So today I wanted to go over gear and equipment that is needed for martial arts and when you're starting off. But I decided to change it around because it's very exclusive to what art you're doing and what equipment you'll need. A good example is what would be in your gear bag. Okay, so for example, I would pack it depending on which class I'm going to. Starting off with how it could differ is the uniform. Shaolin, karate, jiu-jitsu, judo, you have your gi. Okay, that's number one. You may need to invest in a good gi, or usually the gym would have their own. Then, depending on what other martial arts you're doing, you would probably need shorts. So for Muay Thai, you have the lovely Muay Thai shorts. Anything about these is I would use them for boxing as well. But any type of shorts, any workout style bits and pieces, they're good. Next, for depending on what I'm doing, your hand wraps. Now, hand wraps are tricky. You can get different types and stuff like that. But if you're getting just the normal hand wraps, these are the ones with the actual built-in hand. So you just slip it on like a glove and then wrap it up. But if you're actually getting the full hand wraps, learn how to do it correctly. There's different methods, there's different ways to do it. Have a look for yourselves on YouTube. There's plenty of other videos about it, and see what works for you. Next, I would have different gym towels. Big one, small one. I've loads of kind of medium-sized ones that fit in there perfectly. These are more like smaller washcloth types right now, but I would usually have a bigger one depending on if I was going to the gym for a bike session, or maybe if I was going on the rower. A lot of the time you'd want to drape that over you to keep it close, and clean off the machines afterwards, stuff like that. Now, depending on which martial art you go for, you will need different things, but here are my recommendations overall. Medical wrap. There's going to be plenty of times you might actually need this in your bag. You don't know when you're going to twist an ankle or you're going to sprain a hand, something like that. It's handy to have just to kind of wrap it up in the meantime while you're going home. On top of that, for the pain, you will find your own products, bits and pieces, but the ones I would recommend is some sort of oriental rub. Muay Thai oil works as well, and this then is a muscle rub with arnica. Arnica is very good for bruising as well. This is a gel, but arnica usually comes in a kind of a white cream. So see what's available for you and go from there. Then we have freeze sprays. This is BioFreeze. This is an actual rub-on. I prefer this one and the creams than the sprays because sometimes they're in your bag and they smell, and CFCs, you don't really want to be going near them. It's easier to have them and work from that. One of the things I like to do is I have 3 different sets of balls. Now they're all a different kind of density. So this one's hard, this one's medium, and the green one is very soft. What I like to do with these is if I'm not doing much, if I'm waiting room for a class, I'll grab the blue first. And it's got a good bit of bounce to it, so I can practice my hand-eye coordination just on the thing, keep it going. This one is the medium, so it doesn't bounce as high, so you have to move a bit more to catch it and stuff like that. And the green one practically just drops to the ground, so you gotta move even more. But good for your hand-eye coordination. That's a life skill just to be able to be good at that. So think about getting something like that. Now, more specifically, depending on what you're doing, you will have various mouth guards, Muay Thai, any type of kickboxing. But I recommend that just get them early, get used to trying them out. You don't know when you're going to be sparring. You don't know when you're going to be maybe going into a competition, and trust me, the worst thing you could be doing is not get used to these. The first thing I found with these is that they're fine, you fit them to your mouth and everything, you could put them in hot water. There's different types, some are made for you specifically, but I don't think you'd be investing in a couple of $100 to buy a mouth guard. These ones are they're a couple of euro, a couple of dollars, they're not that much. You can put them in boiling water, you take them out, bite it down, it kind of takes them all to your teeth, You take it out, then you put it into cold water, and it kind of hardens into that shape for you. So this one is hardened up. This one is a lighter one, it more just slips in. But my point being about getting these, we didn't use them for sparring. We just didn't use them. But then when I got to one of my first competitions, I'll never forget it. I put one of these in, and my cardio completely changed. Now, obviously, that may not be a big issue for a lot of people, but it's just a little tip. I found it harder and more difficult to kind of get used to breathing while I had it in. I was trying to keep it up and touch it with my tongue, and my mouth was blocked and bits and pieces like that. So just bear that in mind. Next, this bad boy. No matter what sport you're doing, I would recommend getting one of these for the guys. Get yourself a nice cup and something that fits. You do it for you. Just do it for you. It happens all the time. Gi, no gi, sports, whatever. Just do it. You'll need it eventually. Oh, little tip as well. When you're buying the shorts, if you are buying Venom type, okay, there's a lot of complaints online about the Venom, especially in the Muay Thai. The boxing is fine, but for the Muay Thai, a lot of people would get their normal size. They could people say in sweatpants they're a large or medium, so they think, oh yeah, that's grand, I'll just get the large or medium Venom shorts. Boom, there we go. A lot of complaints online about these was that if you get them in your size, they're kind of too small. And the reason for that is because these are made to fit a specific body type. Okay, so if you are like a large, which I am in most things, but I fall into a medium, it's just my body type, just the way I am. Turns out I am made for these. They're the exact size that I need. So these are large, they fit me perfectly. But I'm only like 5'9", 5'10". And you know, whatever way they're made, they're just made for shorter people, shorter frame. So think about that when you're buying them. There is charts and stuff like that, or even you might know a friend or someone in the gym that could recommend it, that might have them themselves, and they can be like, these are actually a little tight, get it a size up for your body. Next, I think we've covered Muay Thai, we've covered Jiu-Jitsu, we've covered Shaolin and karate and different types of that. Harness. What do you need for harness? Well, you need all that, but sticks. That's what you need. You need your sticks. That's it. That's all you need. Anyway, for at-home stuff, what would you invest for being at home? A lot of people get a heavy bag. Always good, no matter what you're doing. I myself, I actually didn't get a heavy bag. I only got a small kind of hand thing, but it had dual usage because the space in my previous apartment wasn't much. So I hung it up, and the handy thing about it was not only was I able to punch it, but I was also able to practice my movement, my ducks, my sweeps, you know, and that was handy because it had that dual function. Outside of that, with all your creams and all your things for, you know, medicine, recovery, and just in general exercise, invest in a decent yoga mat. This one I've had for a while. It's pretty good, nice and thick. It's not one of those kind of thin ones, and you'll notice it as well. They're just more comfortable when you're in your recovery days and you just want to like lay out. Sometimes I'd lie down on this thing for just 20 minutes before I do any yoga or Pilates. Trust me, they're worth it. They're worth it. You might need it for your recovery days, and if not, you're doing your yoga or Pilates. If that's what you're getting into, you will need something that will last. The Everlast ones are quite good because they're thick. But if you're buying one, my tip would be thicker, better. When you're actually buying it in the store, just look at what it is, then check the material and go from there. Outside of that, you're going to have your belts. Over time, you're going to get things like this, knee guards. You're going to find out what injuries you get yourself, so you'll get, and it'll determine what you're getting based on that. invest in a good bag as well. There's nothing worse than it ripping on you. I got a decent Nike one. It's not that big, but it's perfect for whatever I need to do. I got my vitamins and everything else inside there now, but I repack it depending what class I'm going to, or if I'm just even going to the gym. I keep my padlock in there so I can lock the locker. You know, think about it. Invest yourself. See what you want. See what you like. But they're my recommendations. Any questions? Leave them in the comments and let me know what you might like for tomorrow.